Season of isolation. For me, all four times. It's been very, very similar, almost identical. And every time I've come to the cross, I enter into that season of isolation. And that's when the Lord is going to pull you away from people, places, and things that were your sin. These can be relationships that you cherish. They can be friends and family members. But these can also be the people who are the catalyst for your sin. You know, that cousin who's always going out and partying and saying, don't worry about it, man. Come on, just one more time. Or maybe it's a friend who does that. Or maybe it's your favorite dive bar. The purpose of that is to try to get you away. And in that process, they talk about, some of them will just flat out say heart surgery. Some of them talk about a heart of stone being replaced with a heart of flesh. That's in the Bible. And that's because that heart of stone is that heart that is okay with that sin. It's a calloused heart. And this new heart is a heart that resonates with and from Jesus Christ. When that's placed inside you, that new heart, He's pulling you away from these things. And in that season of isolation, you get frustrated a lot of times because you don't really understand it. And so I'm going to use this first video on the season of isolation to explain it to you very briefly like this. In my season of isolation, when I came to the cross and I asked Jesus Christ into my life, we're standing outside the city of sin now. And there's this straight path all the way to that narrow gate they talk about. But right out here, right outside the city, starts this wilderness, this isolation. And as Jesus and I are walking down this path, this straight path, we walk into the wilderness. And I know that we're going to a campsite. But I really don't know how long this is going to take. I really don't. Now, at the time this was going on, even this most recent time, I didn't really understand this part. This came to me about a month ago, and I'll explain that in the next video. But you're outside this city of sin, and you're walking out along this straight path, and you walk into the wilderness. And we're walking, and we're walking, and we're walking. And I don't really understand everything, but I know we're going to a campsite, but we hadn't got there yet. The purpose of this walk and getting to that campsite is so that Jesus Christ can minister to your heart through the Holy Spirit so that you can walk obediently with Him. Now, when we first enter into this season of isolation, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. For me, I'm always thinking, man, now I'm a Christian. I got to do all these things right. I got to be perfect. I got to do all this. I got to do all that. Guys, that's putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. So don't focus on tomorrow, the day after, the day after. Genuinely, I'm telling you, it took me 6 months to get through this frustration to really get to the point where I stopped focusing on tomorrow and the next day, feeling inadequate because I was so blessed for what He's done in my life. Feeling inadequate and I'm not doing enough for Him. What do I got to do to repay this? Guys, I'll tell you first off, there is nothing you can do on this earth for the remainder of your life that can ever repay that debt. The best we can do is try. And that is what this walk of faith is our effort to show Him that we appreciate it, even as imperfect as we are. And we are. There's none of us that are good. I'm not good. The pastor's not good. That pastor's not good. That pastor's not good. All these guys on YouTube are not good. None of us are good. The only good person who's ever walked on this earth has been Jesus Christ. Okay? That's it. It just is what it is. But in this process, that sanctification that I spoke about, this is where that happens. This is where that happens. And it's the most important part, because this is where we learn to do this with the Lord. And if we don't learn these steps, if we don't understand these steps, we get frustrated and we get confused. And those whispers will start coming back into your head. You'll start justifying it in your head. And the minute it goes from your head to your heart, it's now in action. It's now in action. Once it's here, you're acting upon that. So that's why this season of isolation is so important. And in the next one, I'm going to expound a little bit more on why that is and how I came to this understanding. And this is going to have a short testimony about something that I did that was, well, it wasn't good. It wasn't Christian-like. And it happened just hours after I got out of Sunday church. Yeah, I got humbled. Next video.